Okay, so this is sort of a bonus lecture, bonus surprise here. To talk about the master project, or the one project to rule them all. The idea in our intro to game programming class is that we're gonna have one Unity project that is going to contain all of your class projects. Okay, so even if you've created your first project already, don't worry. This is something you can kind of add on afterwards, and I'm going to give you I've created a custom asset pack that's going to make it much, much, much easier. Now, the goal is to have something like this, and you're going to substitute your own ID here for the in the text here, so that we're going to know whose project is whose, and there's going to be four buttons here. One for the first project, which is the adventure project. Then there's an apple tree project, shoot 'em up project, and platformer project. Now, this is the first scene, and I've named all these scenes with an underscore in front of them just so they don't get mixed up with any scenes that you might already have. And the idea is, if I press play and we go into the game, you will see that if I click on adventure, I go to a scene called underscore adventure. And I can return to the main menu. Apple tree, there's an apple tree scene. Return to main menu. Shoot 'em up, return to main menu. Platformer, and return to main menu. So this makes it easy to kind of structure your game, and if you want to put your game in a particular scene, you can just use the underscore adventure, underscore apple tree, underscore main menu, and so on, and it will kind of do the right thing. So let me explain the structure a little bit. Let's go back to that main menu, and you'll notice, so we've got these four scenes that it's going to set up for you. Let's go through the whole thing from scratch. Now I'm going to delete these. Delete. Yep, delete those. And I'm going to go in and also I'm going to delete these two scripts, the load a scene script and the test loading script. I'll talk about what those are in just a second. Okay, so they're all deleted. We're going to go to scenes. It's going to delete everything. Let's go to scenes sample scene, which I'm going to say don't save. So everything's blank, right? Sample scene, no scripts. It happens to be a script directory. That's okay. Nothing going on here. All right. So go to Assets, Import Package, Custom Package, and choose the Fall 2020 Scenes.Unity package that I have provided. And you'll see it's going to ask, do you want to import those scenes? And do you want to import these scripts? Let's show you, these are new. Okay, and when you say import, go ahead, import. All right, it's going to create those things in your Unity project. And like I said, I've named them that hopefully you haven't already named things using those names, so you should be safe. Okay, so if we go to the main menu, you will see that there are four buttons. Let's double click on Canvas. We see this is all Canvas UI items. I'm going to even drop that down. You see this button adventure, button apple tree, button shoot 'em up, and button platformer. And there's some text which has room for your name. So let's just look at one of these for starters. Actually, there's one other thing worth mentioning. There's this little object that's basically an invisible object. All it has is called Scene Loader, and it has a script on it called Load a Scene. And that Load a Scene really just has this. It's a really, really simple script. Open it up. So Load a Scene it is a public class, and it has two functions. One, which is called Change Scene, and it takes the name of the scene to change to, and we'll call Load Scene. The other one is a static, which is called Return to Main. Now, the reason it's static is that this way, if it's static, it doesn't even need this component, this script, doesn't even need to be in the scene to be called, because this is a static public void. We'll talk more about that in a later lecture. But anyway, we'll leave it here for now. So these are both static public void functions, and this is a mono behavior only because we want it to be able to be called from a button, and it's convenient to do it this way. So we have this change scene function, and we have this return to main function, or methods, whatever you want to call them. There, one takes a parameter, which is a string, which will tell what scene to load. The other one is hard-coded with underscore main menu. If you want to change that to your own main menu name, by all means, feel free to. Okay, so that's the load a scene script. So when we click one of these buttons, let's show here. So here's a button, and the action that is triggered by that button, if we look in here, let's see, not at the text, but at the actual button itself, you'll see it is calling the scene loader objects script called loadascene.changeScene, and it passes it this parameter, underscore adventure. Now, because we already have a scene called underscore adventure, it knows to call that scene. And this could be anything. This this string here, you can change that to be the name of your scene that you want to have loaded if it already has a different scene. Like maybe I wanted to call sample scene instead. Sample scene. Now, this isn't, actually, it's not going to work right away, but I want to demonstrate why. So hit return. Everything looks cool. And we'll go and we'll hit play. I think that was, which one was that? Adventure. Okay, it didn't work. Sample scene couldn't be loaded because it has not been added or to the build settings. Okay, so in order to make this work, you have to remember that all of your scenes should be added to your build settings. See, here's this underscore main menu, apple tree. I don't know if these will be correctly set in the one that you imported. They might not be, but you want to make sure to add these to the scenes. And one of the easiest ways to do that is just select all of them, drag them up here, and it will make sure that all of your scenes are in there. Don't say build and run, don't say player settings. Just leave it at that and close that. Now, any scene can be launched, called, etc. They're all part of the project. So if I hit adventure, it goes to sample scene because that's what I edited that to be. It has no buttons. Sample scene is just empty, so it doesn't do me a lot of good. All right. Let's modify that again. We'll go back to adventure, and we'll call this should be calling underscore adventure. As long as I spelled it right, it will call the appropriate scene. Let's hit play again. And adventure gets called. It goes to the adventure scene, which only has a single thing in it, which is a button, which has on it a little bit of text. It's just a little script here called test loading script, and test loading.myEndScene gets called when that button is pressed. Okay. Again, the only reason that this is actually instantiated in here is because, well, to put something on a button, it has to be, it's easiest for it to be there in the scene. So it's calling test loading my scene, which is in this script here, test loading. So we'll double click on that, and you'll see test loading. All it does is it calls the loadascene.return to main. Right? That's the function that is in that other script, and it just refers to it directly, loadascene. So there's, because it's static in the other script, we can launch it directly like this. So loadascene.return to main, and I can put that in any function, in any method, anywhere in the scene or anywhere in the project, and it'll return to that main scene. Okay, I can't link that directly through to a Unity editor action event, unfortunately, so I have to call it from script here. Maybe there's a way to do that, but I think it's just kind of a weird editor thing. So I hit return to menu, boom, back to the main menu. So, and that's how it works for all of them. All right, so if you want to take a look, you know, the important one here is the load scene. That's the one that has these functions in it that are the change scene function and the return to main function. Okay, you can refer to these, once these are in your project, you can refer to these from any other script. You could say loadascene.changeScene, give it a name, and it'll go to that scene, right? So I could have even done this. I could have even said, okay, in the test loading one, which is the one that's in this other one, I could have said test loading, loadascene, and it was, what do we call it? Change scene, main menu. That will work as well. Certainly should. All right. So I could have said that. Let's see. Save that. Come back here. Press play. And as long as I did that correctly, boom, return to main menu. Still works. Okay. And that same script is being used across all of these scenes, right? So there's only two scripts, this loadascene and the test loading one. Okay, the test loading one is only so I wanted to have it in the dedicated scenes there, right? Apple tree, for instance. Let's say save that one. So that's because this button has that script on it. I suppose I could have even combined the two even more closely and said, okay, instead of this being on there, I could have used this other script on there, you know. 6 one, half dozen another. So, but that's the idea. The main idea behind this is really that we create a main menu that then all of the other projects are kind of executed from. We get to all the other scenes by clicking on a button in this main menu, so that you don't have to create 4 different projects and upload this to Unity and keep those on the collaborative server, so that I have to like deal with, basically we have 23, 25 students, I forget now, times 4, that would be 100 different projects as opposed to only dealing with 24, 25 projects. Okay, so that's the goal, make it basically far more reasonable and manageable. So give it a try, ask me any questions, shoot me a direct message over in our Discord, on our Discord server, if you have any questions about how this would work. Otherwise, good luck with it and enjoy. And the actual asset, the asset package is provided over also on Discord. If you can't find it over there, again, give me a shout and we'll put it up on the LMS server as well. Okay, take care, everybody.